Stephanie, this is some feedback for the interim submission for the hotel project. The assessment criteria at this stage are concept, annotation of the presentation, planning being the big thing, visual explanation of the design proposal at this stage, and proposals for the interior schemes with materials, finishes and products. I think initially 4 sheets that you've pinned up give a good indication of where you're hoping to go with this project through the planning solution, your selection of sketch visuals and your selection of some of the furnishings and interior detailing. I think what would have been quite useful to have would have been your initial concept board, or even your up-to-date concept board, because I know that's sort of evolved over the last couple of weeks, just to see the sort of relationship between the initial sort of mood that you were trying to generate and how that's become across with some of the things that you've got on the presentation at the moment. I think the mixture of annotation that you've got, from the information on the plans to the wee notes on your sketches to your explanations of how the interior is going to be, is quite useful at this stage, and I think the project shows great potential. There's a few things I'd like to sort of point out to you on the plan that are maybe worth a wee kind of review of, and my initial sort of thoughts are that the bar area on the ground floor, either the space is too small or the bar is too big, and maybe that's something that you can sort of look at, because you've got another big bar up in the top area. So again, what I maybe need to do is have a discussion with you, or have a look at your report to see what you were sort of thinking of would be happening in this sort of spaces. Is the bar upstairs only supporting the restaurant? And again, does it have to be as big? Or could downstairs maybe be a coffee bar, a more sort of a daytime space? I think it's just something to consider. My first thoughts are that the actual bar counter looks quite big. It doesn't look big in your sketch visual, which gives a nice indication of some of the detailing that you're sort of thinking of, and it actually looks quite a nice wee space just as you've illustrated it, but on the plan the bar looks massive. Moving upstairs onto the first floor, I think the planning at first glance seems to work well. You've worked in your sort of your circulation, orientation space, entry into the bar and then through into the restaurant. And again, I think the furniture layout is effective, works well. There's nothing there that's kind of going What I have put a question mark against, I'm not sure if it's a raised area or a screened off area on the far right hand side. That's maybe something, it's maybe worth a discussion with you to see what that actually is that you're putting in there. I already mentioned that maybe the bar is too big, but again it depends on how you see that actually operating. Again, I've put some scribbles on the plan where you have your bar stockroom wall is finishing mid-window. And I think it might be useful to maybe even move the bar stockroom towards the corridor, and maybe leave space at the window, and maybe even access into your sort of conference room. But I think you need to look at where you're finishing off the wall, so it maybe even comes kind of in towards the window framing. Another suggestion might be that your conference rooms, you've got 1 and 2, it might be an idea to make this more flexible in its use, and maybe even put in sliding or folding doors to allow the space to open up and be used as one space as well as 2. Sorry about that gap. As I've mentioned before, your wee ground floor bar sketches are very effective. I know they're little, just wee kind of sketch ideas, but again, the idea of showing the patterns and the kind of simple detailing is always useful for describing the space to a client. I'm most taken with your first floor restaurant space and these feature seating booths that you're incorporating. And again, that sketch gives a good idea of volume and space, and the fact that you've got your illustrations of your furniture beside that, as well as some of the sort of other details, is useful. Your lighting features in particular as well. So I'm quite looking forward to see how this actually evolves and develops to the next stage. So you've put some samples up. Again, that's sort of useful. Maybe, again, useful to even pull together a scheme board. It's not essential, but I think sometimes it gives a better idea of how everything's sort of coming together. And I know it's maybe sort of early days, but something to think about most definitely for the next project. So you've not got material dotted around the place, but you can actually see everything grouped together for each of the areas. But have a wee look at what I've suggested, and we can catch up in class. Thank you.